Have you ever felt like your brain is a browser with 50 tabs open and you have no idea where the music is coming from? You sit down to work, but within 2 minutes, you're staring at a wall or scrolling through a video feed of strangers you do not even like. Your focus is fried, and your motivation feels like a battery that refuses to hold a charge no matter how many energy drinks or self-help books you throw at it. You feel like a biological disaster. But here is the secret that the high achievers and the top 1% do not want you to know. You are not lazy. You are not broken. And you certainly do not have a lack of potential. You are simply suffering from a massive case of dopamine burnout and cognitive overload. Your brain is a supercomputer running on outdated software in a world that is designed to hijack your attention every single second. Today, I'm going to give you 3 brain tricks that will make you 10 times more productive in 30 seconds or less. These are not your typical self-help tips. These are raw neurohacks backed by science that flip the switch from brain fog to laser focus instantly. Pay very close attention because the third trick is the most powerful tool ever discovered for stopping procrastination in its tracks.
If you miss it, you will continue to be a slave to your own biology. To understand why you are failing, we have to look at the neurobiology of your modern existence.
Your brain evolved in an environment where information was scarce and survival was the only priority. Today, you are bombarded with more information in a single morning than your ancestors consumed in an entire lifetime. This creates a state of chronic high cortisol, where your amygdala, which is the fear center of your brain, is constantly on high alert. You are living in a state of low-level panic and you do not even realize it. This is why you feel that tightness in your chest when you look at your to-do list or that sudden urge to check your phone for a quick hit of dopamine. You are trying to escape the perceived threat of effort. Your brain thinks you are being hunted by a predator, when in reality, you are just staring at a spreadsheet or a blank page. To fix this, you need a complete system override. It starts with trick number 1, which is the optical reset, also known as panoramic vision. Most of you spend your entire day in what scientists call tunnel vision or foveal focus. You are looking at your phone, your laptop, or your notes. When your eyes are fixed on a small point, your brain sends a direct signal to your nervous system that you are in a state of high arousal and stress. This is an ancient survival mechanism. If you were staring at a predator in the wild, you would have intense tunnel vision. Today, that predator is your digital devices. When you maintain this focus for hours, you are literally bathing your brain in stress chemicals that kill your ability to think creatively or work efficiently. To break this in 30 seconds, you need to do the exact opposite of what your instincts tell you. Look away from the screen and soften your gaze. Expand your vision so that you can see the corners of the room and the objects to your left and right without actually moving your eyes to look at them. This is called the panoramic view. When you engage your peripheral vision, you physically and neurologically deactivate the sympathetic nervous system and activate the parasympathetic nervous system. You are using your eyes to tell your brain that the threat is gone. Research shows that this simple act shuts down the production of norepinephrine and signals to the superior colliculus that it is safe to relax. Your heart rate slows down, and your prefrontal cortex, which is the part of your brain responsible for executive function and focus, comes back online. You go from feeling like a frantic animal to a calm strategist in 30 seconds. This is the exact technique used by elite special forces and high-performance athletes to remain calm under extreme pressure. If you do this every 30 minutes, you will never hit that mid-afternoon wall where your brain feels like mush. Now, let us move on to trick number 2, which is the 5-second neurological launch sequence. Have you ever noticed that there is a tiny window between having an idea and your brain coming up with a million reasons why you should not do it? This is the dopamine trap. Your brain is designed to protect you from anything that requires effort because effort equals energy expenditure, and in the wild, saving energy meant survival. Your brain is a masterpiece of efficiency, but in the modern world, that efficiency translates into mediocrity and procrastination. When you hesitate, you give your basal ganglia the power to kill your progress before it even begins. This part of the brain is where your habits and fears live, and it hates change. To override this, you must use the 5-second rule, which is a form of metacognition that interrupts the habit loop. The moment you know you have a task to do, you must count backwards 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Counting backwards is essential because it requires active concentration and forces your prefrontal cortex to take over the steering wheel from your lizard brain. It creates a physical and mental interrupt in your thought process. On the count of 1, you must physically move. This physical movement is the key because it triggers what is known as activation energy. Just like a chemical reaction needs a spark to start, your brain needs a physical action to break the state of stagnation. You are not waiting to feel motivated. Motivation is a myth sold to you by people who want you to stay weak. Action creates motivation. By using this launch sequence, you bypass the emotional resistance and start the engine before the doubt has a chance to form a coherent sentence. This works for getting out of bed, for making that difficult phone call, or for finally starting that project you have been putting off for months. If you do this, you will realize that the hardest part of any task is just the first 5 seconds. Once you are moving, the brain actually starts to enjoy the process because it begins to release small amounts of dopamine as a reward for the progress you are making. But even with these 2 tricks, you might still find yourself feeling like you are fighting against yourself. That is where trick number 3 comes in. This is the ultimate hack, which I call the observer effect, or cognitive diffusion. This is the secret ingredient that distinguishes the high achievers from everyone else. Most people are completely merged with their thoughts and emotions. When they feel lazy, they say, "I am lazy." When they feel tired, they say, "I am tired." By using the word "I," you are identifying yourself with the state of your biology. You are essentially telling your brain that you are the problem. This creates a psychological loop where you feel guilty for being lazy, which makes you more stressed, which makes you want to avoid work even more. To break this, you need to use the power of the third-person perspective. Instead of saying, "I am tired," you say, "I notice that my brain is sending a signal of fatigue." This tiny shift in language is a massive neurobiological hack. It engages the anterior cingulate cortex, which is the part of the brain that monitors internal states. When you observe your feelings rather than being them, you are no longer a prisoner of your current state. You become the engineer of the machine rather than the machine itself. In 30 seconds, you can detach from the resistance. When you feel that urge to quit, just stop and say to yourself, "My brain is currently trying to save energy by generating a feeling of boredom or resistance." This allows you to stay in control. You are the pilot, and the brain is just the airplane. The airplane might be experiencing turbulence, but the pilot stays on course, regardless of how the plane is shaking. This technique is used in clinical psychology to treat extreme anxiety, and it is just as effective for destroying procrastination. You are not your thoughts, and you are not your biology. You are the awareness that can watch these things happen and still choose to act. When you combine these 3 tricks, you are building a fortress of productivity that is impenetrable to the distractions of the modern world. You are reclaiming your sovereignty in an era where everyone is trying to steal it. You are choosing to be rare. Most people will watch this video and go right back to their old habits because they are comfortable in their dysfunction. They would rather complain about their lack of focus than spend 30 seconds doing the work to fix it. But you are different. You stayed until the end because you know that your potential is being wasted and you are tired of it. You have the secret knowledge now. If you are ready to stop being a walking biological disaster and start being the person you know you can be, I want you to do 2 things right now. First, type the word 1 in the comments. This is your first micro win of the day. It signals to your brain that you are a person who takes action on new information. Second, hit that subscribe button because we are going to continue stripping away the lies and giving you the hard science of success every single day. The world is getting louder and more chaotic, but you now have the tools to stay calm and productive. Go out there and use your 30 seconds wisely because your future self is counting on you to be better than you were yesterday. Do not let them down. See you in the next video.